Hey, what is going on, guys? In this video today, we're going to be taking a look at the non-claw custom binds used by 10 of the best controller Fortnite players in the world. And when I say non-claw, that means you're going to see a few players who play non-claw with no paddles, and then also see players who play non-claw with a controller that has paddles, such as a scuf or Xbox Elite. The reason I want to focus on non-claw is because that's the way the vast majority of controller players play, and also since I've never played claw myself, I only have a relatively basic knowledge of it. So by showing 10 different sets of binds, I think we'll get a really good idea of the similarities and differences in the binds that these top players are using, and if you want to skip to any player specifically, I'm going to be putting timestamps in the description below so you can click on it and it'll take you to that part of the video. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so we're going to start this video off with WavyJacob, who is hands down the most popular non-claw, non-paddle controller player. So the important binds here in the first section are he edits with L3/left stick, jump is A/X, switch mode is B/circle, toggle pickaxe is Y/triangle, and he has opening the map bound to his touchpad. And then when you go into the editing section on the binds, he selects the squares while editing with RT/R2, he confirms with LT/L2, and he resets with R3/right stick. So overall, these are basically the standard non-claw, non-paddle binds. Also, it's interesting to note, since Jacobbb uses the base A/X button without playing claw or using paddles, he pretty much can aim and jump at the same time, which you'd think would be really detrimental. But at the same time, he's one of the most successful competitive controller players alive, so I guess it works for him somehow. The second non-claw, non-paddle player on our list is Nutify. A little less known than some players on the list, but he's a player that's had a lot of success as a controller on PC player, then he came back to console and has absolutely dominated with his duo partner Twexy. So his binds are a little interesting for a few reasons. First off, his edit button says it's select, but it's actually touchpad on PS4. This is kind of confusing, but he uses a custom PS4 controller that has Xbox button configurations, so the game basically registers it as an Xbox controller, and since Xbox doesn't have touchpad, it makes it look like his edit button is bound to select, but trust me, it's touchpad. He uses right stick/R3 to jump, left stick/L3 is switch mode, pickaxe is Y/triangle, and crouch/repair is B/circle. Then for his edit binds, he uses RB/R1 to select the squares while editing, RT/R2 to reset edits, and then B/circle is his confirm edit button. So those are honestly some of the most unique controller binds I've ever seen. They clearly work for him, but when comparing the non-claw, non-paddle binds of Nut to Jacobbb, I'd say Jacobb's are a lot better. The third non-claw, non-paddle player is Jacobbb with 3 Bs, so totally different person than WavyJacob. He uses L3/left stick edit, A/X for jump, B/circle for switch mode, and then triangle/Y is his toggle pickaxe button. Then in the editing section, he uses R2/RT to select the squares, RB/R1 to reset edits, and then square/X to confirm edits. These are pretty typical non-claw, non-paddle binds as a whole. The only thing I don't really understand is using square/X for confirm edit, but at the end of the day, they're his binds. Next player on our list is Assault, who's a non-claw player with paddles. So he uses L3/left stick to edit, B/circle is his switch mode, A/X is his jump button, and he has toggle pickaxe bound to his PS4 controller's touchpad. Then for editing binds, he uses R2/RT to select the squares while editing, R1/RB to reset any edits, and then circle to confirm his edits. And it's important to note that he uses 2 paddles on his controller. His left paddle is bound to A/X for jump, and then his right paddle is bound to B/circle for switch mode. So I'd say those binds are fairly standard in pretty much every regard. Moving on to player number 5, we have CRR, who is non non-claw with paddles. His edit button is L3/left stick, jump is A/X, toggle pickaxe is triangle, and switch mode is B/circle. Then his editing binds, he uses R2/RT to select edits, R3/right stick to reset edits, and then B/circle to confirm his edits. And much like Assault, he's also a two-paddle player, with his left paddle being A/X to jump, and then his right paddle being B/circle, which when he isn't building is switch mode, but then when he opens the editing menu to edit is confirm edit. I think this is a really solid set of binds as a whole, and I think the actions he bound his paddles to are pretty much perfect. Controller player number 6 on our list is scuf, who's non-claw with paddles. So in the combat controls section, the noteworthy binds are edit is L3/left stick, jump is left on the D-pad, but obviously that's bound to a paddle, which we'll get into in a second, switch mode is circle/B, and toggle pickaxe is Y/triangle. Then for editing, we have R2/RT to select, R1/RB to reset, and then circle is his confirm edit button. And as I alluded to, scuf uses two paddles on his controller, his left paddle being left on the D-pad for jump, and then his right paddle is circle for switch mode and confirm edit. Those binds are very similar to CRR's, and I'll repeat the same thing I said with him. I really like them. Next up, we have Byzic, who's one of the highest earning console players, and he also plays non-claw with paddles. So in the combat control section, we have L3/left stick edit, the default A/X jump, B/circle switch mode, and Y/triangle for pulling out the pickaxe. Then in the editing section, RT/R2 to select, LT/L2 to confirm, and right stick/R3 to reset. And Byzic's actually the first player in this video that uses 4 paddles. He uses A/X for jump, B/circle for switch mode, X/square, which is reload and interact, and finally Y/triangle, which is the pickaxe button. Moving on to player number 8, as we get towards the home stretch here, we have Merkin Cartoon, another dominant console player that was also pretty successful when he played controller on PC. I feel like we've seen this exact setup a few times already, but he has L3/left stick for edit, jump is A/X, switch mode is B/circle, and toggle pickaxe is Y/triangle. Then in the editing section, select is RT/R2, confirm is LT/L2, and reset is right stick/R3. So I think those are actually the exact same binds as Byzic, but one difference is that Cartoon uses 2 paddles instead of 4. And one of those paddles is bound to A/X for jump, and the other paddle is bound to B/circle for pulling out his builds. Our second to last player is NickMercs, who I'm sure pretty much all of you guys know, and he uses non-claw with paddles. So in the combat section, Nick uses Y/triangle to edit, he jumps with A/X, switch mode is B/circle, and toggle pickaxe is bound to his touchpad. Then in the editing section, he selects with RT/R2, resets with LT/L2, and then confirms with triangle. And Nick's another one of those players who uses 2 paddles, the first one being bound to A/X for jump, and the second is bound to Y/triangle for both edit and confirm edit. And finally, player number 10 is going to be myself, since at the end of the day, this is my video, so I'm allowed to do what I want. So for my binds, I have edit as left stick/L3, jump is A/X, switch mode is B/circle, and then pulling out pickaxe is Y/triangle. In the editing section, I use RT/R2 to select squares while editing, L2/LT to reset edits, and then RB/R1 to confirm the edits. And for paddles, I'm actually the only one paddle player on this entire list, and I use that paddle on the left side for A/X to jump. So there you go, 10 total players and 10 total sets of binds. Just some notes about what I noticed: L3/left stick was definitely the most common edit, edit bind. You saw a lot of right stick /R3 reset edit binds, which I thought was pretty interesting. The confirm edit binds were all over the place, but it seemed like B/circle was the most common, and a lot of people would bind that to a paddle. And finally, all of the paddle players other than myself used either 2 paddles or 4 paddles, so it seems like that's kind of the way to go. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you watched the entire thing, be sure to let me know with a comment down in the comment section below. Since I'm guessing all of you guys are non-claw players, do you play non-claw without paddles or non-claw with paddles? Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.